Welcome to this video on overview of fiber optic communication system. I am Dr. M. Sumati, Professor of Electronics and Communication Engineering. In this video, we will be looking into a basic communication system, the advantages of optical fiber, and a fiber optic communication system and its components, and the band of operation of the optical fiber and its components. A basic communication system, message or information has to be transmitted from the source to the destination. So, the information from the source is given to the transmitter, which modulates and transmits it into the channel or the transmission medium. The transmission medium can be either wired or wireless. And as the signal propagates in the channel, it gets attenuated, distorted, and noise gets added to it. So, the receiver receives a weakened and distorted signal, and it has to extract signal from this, and this extracted signal is given to the destination, which processes the signal as per the requirement of the application. Based on the mode of communication, the communication media can be classified into two types: the guided or wired media and the unguided or wireless media. In a guided media, a physical path exists between the transmitter and the receiver. Twisted pair, coaxial cable, optical fiber are some of the examples. In twisted pair, two copper wires are twisted to mitigate the effect of electromagnetic interference or EMI, and twisted pairs are mainly used in telephone cables. And coaxial cable has two conductors, an inner conductor and an outer conductor. The inner conductor is made of copper encased in dielectric material, and the outer conductor is also made of copper or copper coated steel. And the electromagnetic interference is lesser compared to the twisted pair, and the bandwidth is higher in a coaxial cable, and coaxial cables are mainly used in television cables. The optical fiber, it is made of dielectric material, that is glass or silica, and it has low attenuation, high bandwidth, and therefore it is used for telecommunication purposes. Our focus of study will be optical fiber. And the unguided media are also called free wave propagation, such as radio wave, microwave, infrared or IR. So, radio wave ranging from very low frequency to the higher frequencies, and then into the microwave frequencies, where for microwave propagation line of sight is required. Similarly, infrared propagation also requires line of sight, and in IR large data can be transmitted but over a short distance. Some examples of wireless systems are broadcast radio, television, satellite communication, and then cellular mobile communication, etc. Comparing a wired and a wireless system, especially with the media, the speed of a wired system is much higher compared to a wireless system, and the signal loss is higher in a wireless system because of interference, reflection, refraction, and so on. And the interference is lesser in a wired system compared to a wireless system. In a wireless system, signals propagate in multipath, and therefore they interfere, and effects such as fading occurs. Quality of service or QoS is better in a wired system. In a wireless system, the delay, jitter is more, and even the connection establishment time is more. The bandwidth of a wired system is higher, especially with optical fiber, which operates in terabits per second. And the reliability is higher in a wired system compared to a wireless system. The security, a wired system, if signal has to be tapped, the physical medium has to be tampered with. Whereas in a wireless system, if a receiver is available and it is within the coverage area of the wireless system, the signal can be received. That is why, to enhance the security in a wireless system, various technologies such as encryption and many others are used. But wireless has one major advantage compared to a wired system, and that is mobility. The mobility of a wired system is limited, whereas the mobility of a wireless system is unlimited. Hence, wireless systems are mainly used in access network where the customer or end user requires mobility, whereas wired system is used in the core network where large volumes of data have to be transmitted or carried over long distances in a very short period. So, optical fiber, which connects continents across the globe is used for transporting large data in a short duration of time and over long distances. Moving on to the advantages of optical fiber. First, the long distance transmission. Since optical fiber has low attenuation or low loss, signals can propagate over long distances without amplification or regeneration. Hence, lesser number of amplifiers or regenerators are required, and this results in less complex and less cost of the system. And the next is large information capacity. Since the carrier frequency of an optical fiber, the frequency of operation is in terahertz, the bandwidth offered is large, therefore large information capacity. Fiber is made of glass, therefore it has small size and low weight, and therefore ease of handling and ease of installation. Optical fiber is made of glass, which is a dielectric material, and therefore it is immune to electromagnetic interference. Therefore, unlike copper, which picks up external and internal electromagnetic interference and has crosstalk, optical fiber does not have crosstalk. And again, as optical fiber is made of glass, which is an insulator, it does not conduct electricity, therefore there are no ground loops or sparks or high voltage problems. But then care should be taken against the emission of the light from laser. So suitable safety precautions have to be taken for laser. And then optical fiber provides increased signal security. Unlike copper, where the signal can be tapped by just giving a connection, it is difficult to tap a signal from an optical fiber, hence increased signal security. So, to summarize the advantages of optical fiber provides a long distance transmission due to low attenuation, which results in less system complexity and cost. And then large information capacity, as the bandwidth of a fiber is large. Small size and low weight, which results in ease of handling and installation and maintenance. And then immunity to electromagnetic interference and therefore no crosstalk. Enhanced safety, therefore can be used in electrically hazardous areas also. And increased signal security. This picture gives the major elements of an optical fiber link. So from the source to the destination, the data has to be transmitted. So for the source, the signal is in the electrical form, and this is converted into optical form at the transmitter by use of light source. There are two types of light sources. One is LED, that is light emitting diode, and the other laser, light amplification by simulated emission of radiation. So either of the sources can be used based on the need of the application. Laser has high intensity light with narrow beam width and coherent signal compared to the LED. The input signal can be either analog or digital, and if the data rates are low, direct modulation, that is the driving current, can directly modulate the output light of the source. Whereas if the data rate is high, greater than 2.5 Gbps, then external modulation is used. That is, a continuous light output from a laser is modulated externally by use of devices such as switches. Now this output light that has been converted at the light source is connected to the optical fiber through the connector. An optical fiber, the link between the transmitter and the receiver, the link can be made of active and passive components. Active components, they require electronic control for their operation, such as reconfigurable add-drop multiplexers, tunable filters, so on. And passive elements are filters, couplers, multiplexers, etc. So the fiber, if the length of the fiber is to be increased to cover the distance between the transmitter and receiver, fibers are spliced, that is permanent connections are made. So now the signal, as it propagates along the fiber, it gets distorted and attenuated. Therefore, amplifiers or regenerators are required. An amplifier will boost the signal strength, whereas a regenerator or repeater will regenerate or try to restore the signal to the original shape. So when a repeater is used, the optical signal has to be converted to an electrical signal and then regenerated and then reconverted into optical signal and then transmitted. Amplifiers, they can be of two types, semiconductor optical amplifiers or fiber optic amplifiers. The signal as it travels along the link, and at the receiver the optical signal is converted into electrical signal by using a photodetector. There are two types of photodetectors, the pin photodiode and the APD or avalanche photodiode. The avalanche photodiode has higher sensitivity compared to a pin photodiode. So, this electrical signal that is converted is then processed as required by the application. So, to summarize the major elements of a fiber optic link, there is the transmitter and the receiver. So, from the source the electrical signal is converted into optical signal at the transmitter using a light source, which could be either LED or laser, and then it propagates along the optical fiber link, which is made of passive and active elements, and at the receiver end a photodetector, either a pin photodiode or avalanche photodiode, is used to reconvert the optical signal into electrical signal, which is then processed. Looking into the various operating bands of an optical fiber. An optical fiber has three windows of operation. The first window centered at 850 nanometers, the second window at 1310 nanometers, and the third window at 1550 nanometers. So, the second window at 1310 nanometers, here the attenuation and dispersion is lesser compared to that of the first window, and this second window is also called the operation window or the O band. And the third window is also called the conventional band or C band, and this is where WDM technology is used, and it is centered at 1550 nanometer. The attenuation is minimum at 1550 nanometer, whereas distortion is higher compared to the second window. Now, after the O band comes the E band or the extended band, where the attenuation increases lightly because of absorption due to hydroxyl ions. Therefore, fibers with low water content are used in this band. Then the short wavelength band and the conventional band, then the long wavelength band. So, these two bands, short and long, can be used for WDM if required, and the ultra long wavelength band. So, these are the bands of operation of an optical fiber. Moving to the spectral bands or the various operating ranges of the components of an optical communication system, namely the optical fiber, the optical source, the optical amplifier, which has the semiconductor amplifier or the optical fiber amplifier, and finally the detector. So, this is shown in this graph for the three windows operating at 1310 nanometers, 1550 nanometers and 850 nanometers, which is shown by dashed vertical lines. Considering the first window at 850 nanometers, the optical source that can be used is gallium aluminum arsenide, and optical amplifier also is made of the same material, gallium aluminum arsenide, and silicon photodetectors can be used. At 1310 nanometers, indium gallium arsenide phosphide optical sources are used. An amplifier, the semiconductor amplifier, is made of indium gallium arsenide phosphide, and optical fiber amplifiers, which amplify the signal in the optical domain itself, is made of rare earth doped element. So, praseodymium doped fiber amplifier, PDFA amplifiers can be used. The detector could be indium gallium arsenide or germanium, depending on the responsivity required for that particular application. And the third window at 1550 nanometer, indium gallium arsenide phosphate source is used, and the semiconductor amplifier device is made of the same material, and the fiber optic amplifier is made of erbium doped fiber amplifier or EDFA. This is the window where WDM exists. And similarly, the detector can be either indium gallium arsenide or germanium detector. So, this shows the operating range and the wavelength and the materials to be used for the various wavelengths of operation. So, while designing a fiber optic system, first the wavelength of operation or the window of operation should be decided, and the corresponding components should be chosen. So, in this video we have seen a basic communication system, the advantages of an optical fiber, and then a fiber optic communication link and the components, and the bands of operation of a fiber, and also the various components and the materials that should be used for the various wavelengths. And these are the references. Thank you.